Alright, so I'm going to be talking to you about intra-abdominal pressure and breathing. I might actually be telling you some stuff that you already know based on your background in psychology. But if you tried to do the intra-abdominal pressure thing yet, which I mean is basically like a bracing of not just your abs, but really just your whole core. So there's a difference between abs and core, but people kind of use them synonymously. Your core is basically, you can think about it as kind of like a girdle that goes around the bottom part of your spine, and it attaches your upper body to your lower body. So there are a lot of muscles. Jesus Christ, this dog is digging a big asshole. There's a lot more muscles than just your abs. You know, you have sets of obliques, you have transverse abdominis, you have quadratus femoris and quadratus lumborum. You know, and your hips play a big role as well, which you'll probably find because when you're doing the intra-abdominal pressure, you might have noticed that if you flex your hips, it sort of becomes easier to flex your abs because, again, your body is a kinetic chain and everything is connected. So one of the problems that people have with intra-abdominal pressure, and I used to be one of these people as well, is breathing while you're tensing your core. Because, as you may already know, the main muscle that you use to breathe is your diaphragm. You can use other muscles to breathe, but the one that's designed to do the brunt of the work is the diaphragm, and it's all the way down here, sort of below the rib cage. And a lot of people do not, like I already said, like utilize their diaphragm when they breathe. So they breathe shallow, which, as you may already know, because again of your background, is not good for you. It's actually like a stressor. You know, it sends stress signals to your nervous system. Your nervous system kind of perceives a threat when it realizes that you're breathing shallow, and so it's going to send out stress, you know, stress-related hormones, and keep you at an elevated level of stress. When you when you breathe shallow, it's also going to make you use muscles up here that you don't need to use and make them tighter. Okay, so when we breathe, we don't want to breathe up. We want to breathe down and out. Okay, so it's some people say you should think about the first 2/3 of your breath in your belly and then the rest above it. So really, really, really start those breaths deep. And you know, that's something that will really benefit you just in a lot of ways, really. I mean, it will, the more you breathe, the more efficient it is, you know, and the less your body will perceive a threat when you're doing something exercise related, which means your body, you know, if you're able to control your breathing, your body will relax. Your body will be like, oh, you know, this isn't that bad of a situation. I don't need to run from this. Let me learn about this, you know, let me sort of like internalize this a little bit in a good way. You know, I may do this again one day, so let me remember how to do it. And so, you know, your body is, or your brain is able to process what you're doing better. Your body is able to do what you're telling it to do when you're in control of your breathing, because your nervous system is not perceiving a threat. So with the intra-abdominal pressure, that's going to be the best bet. Like if you're having trouble with your breathing, you know, start off with a big and then hold it. And this is something else you may know because you, I'm pretty sure you told me you were pregnant before. I mean, I know you have a kid, but, you know, I don't know. do something called the Valsalva maneuver, which is basically, so you breathe in before you do a rep of an exercise, and then you hold that breath through, and then you exhale on the way up. So like if I was doing a bicep curl, for example, I would breathe, hold, up, okay? So you want to be exhaling through the hardest part. You want to already have oxygen in your lungs, and that's another thing. You know, your lungs go all the way down as well. And if you don't breathe heavy, something that can happen is your lungs can start to atrophy and start to kind of close off in the bottom, and you will lose your ability to breathe deep if you don't practice it. Okay, so shoot, I kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah, I mean, Valsalva maneuver, that's going to be your best bet. Take that breath. Oh, that's the other thing I was going to say. Taking that breath also tenses these muscles and makes this stiff, right? So that's the other thing with the intra-abdominal pressure, is if you are able to take that deep breath, hold it, and then tense your core, like you should be able to hold it for a lot longer than you initially did. All right. And I'm also going to show you something. Let's see. It's called a 90-90 drill. Hopefully you'll be able to do this with your knee, but you'll find a wall. Maybe it'll work this way. So you'll find a wall, feet on the wall, 90 degrees, okay? Flat back, so your lower back should be touching the ground. There shouldn't be a gap. I can't even do it. There shouldn't be a gap under it. You should have like all through your tailbone pressed on the ground. You're going to push through the wall while creating that intra-abdominal pressure in the ground and up, and then down through your legs. So you're going to, you're going to feel this rise a little bit, and that's okay. You know, some people don't like to flex their abs like that because they think that they're making themselves like fat by pushing their abs out, that they're going to train their abs to be fat. And that doesn't make any sense, because the thing that's pushing out more than anything right there is your diaphragm. And if anything, your abs are just tensing where they're at. Okay? And the other thing about that is muscle, I know you've probably heard this, muscle is denser than fat, takes up less space. So the more you develop your muscles, which is what you're doing, the smaller they're going to be overall, which means the smaller your belly is going to be overall. Okay? So don't be discouraged by, really kind of poking, I know you can't kind of see it, but, poking that stomach out and really, 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 making it hard. So with this 90-90 drill, and I'm going to talk more about in another video about what to do with your lower back on the ground. But for right now, just know that you need a flat back, feet pushing through the wall, and then you're pushing into the ground and flexing your abs all at the same time. So you take a deep breath and then push your feet, lower back into the ground, and you're kind of pushing your abs into your hips to make your legs as stable as possible. So like my legs aren't wobbling right now. I don't know if you could see that or not. They're not wobbling because I'm digging into the wall with my feet. I'm going to do another video for you about what specifically to do with your feet. But just, you know, for now, this is the drill. You know, you're just tensing yourself, pushing, okay?